Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to our channel. We're offended, you're offended. I'm Kim, and I don't even know how to do this properly. That's Tyler. Yeah, my other half.
You don't know how to do this properly? I'm Kim and Tyler, and that's Tyler over there.
I know, it just sounds so funny. And the funny thing is I'm pointing, and you're not even here. Like, and that's Tyler. I'm pointing at your photo that I'm looking at on the computer screen. Yeah, I'm pretending we're talking.
We are talking. We're not pretending to talk. We are talking.
No, this is all make-believe. It's pretend. No, I meant like I was pretending you were in front of me. Oh, God. Okay.
Nope. Surely I'm not.
This just got weird.
Yeah.
All right. So, welcome, everybody. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, leave a comment, share us. Share, because we like being passed around. We like being shared with everybody. Yes. We love people's grubby fingers touching us. No, I'm just kidding. Not about the sharing, but about the grubby fingers touching us. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can listen to us on YouTube, Rumble, Anchor, Spotify, and anywhere else you want to listen to your podcast. Check us out on our Facebook page and our Instagram, which will all be listed in the description box below. So before we start, I had heard that I was listening to this news article that Jamie Lynn Spears has been suspended as conservator for Britney Spears. Whoa! Insert cheering here.
Oh, and I'll be very surprised if there are some criminal charges or she just doesn't start suing the fuck out of people.
Well, her lawyer...
suing the poopy doodle out of people.
Well, her lawyer did say that he was going to, or that they were going to be looking at charging people and stuff like that. So that is very exciting for the first time. And it's not that Jamie stepped down. Nay, he was suspended. That gave me just the biggest smile. I'm like, fuck yeah. Yeah, you got suspended, you bitch. Oh, that made me feel so good. Maybe we are finally going to see Britney Spears be free once and for all. My fingers are crossed and I'm rooting for you, girl.
And spread her legs and fly.
If that's what she chooses, yes. She can spread whatever she wants if she's free, finally. Yeah. So that's exciting.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. We got a bunch of... God, if people don't think that there's some craziness going on, we got quite a few things to paint a bit of a, not a bleak picture, but okay. All right, you know what? I'll just say it, and yeah. So we have several articles pulled up. Quebec is from Global News, and it's titled "Quebec Nurses Ordered to Suspend Licenses of Unvaccinated Members as Government Deadline Looms." So yeah, Quebec government is looking at firing. This one article says 4,000 people are going to be fired.
4,000.
Yeah. So
now I'm guessing these are medical professional people like nurses and doctors and stuff they're referring to in this?
Yeah. Yeah. So in this one article, they're saying $4,000 and
1,000 people.
$1 billion. $1 billion in order to, as this article puts it, to seduce nurses to stay in a network.
Sorry, what?
They're looking at spending $1 billion in order to encourage people to stay.
So what exactly are they going to be doing with this $1 billion, I might add? Are they going to be like, hey, you get the vaccine, you dirty, unvaccinated person. I'm going to give you 10 grand. How about that? Like, what are they going to do? I don't understand. Or is this going to be like a Manitoba thing, where they're like, hey, if you guys get vaccinated, we're going to put you into a draw to win $1 million.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. Many worry how Quebec's health network will be able to cope with the loss of many more nurses. So this is one thing So these aren't like everyone, I think we brought this up last episode about, we brought it up a few times, like nurses were heralded as heroes and we should be listening to them and all this stuff. Okay, well, aren't we kind of listening to them? Like, are we or are we not now? And I mean we as in like the government just saying, hey, we don't need these people. But during a pandemic, isn't it a really dumb idea to fire a bunch of people? So we have that one. Doctors fear possible Thanksgiving COVID-19 spike could ruin Christmas plans. Yes, and so this is a different one. So it's like they're already priming more and more of this stuff. So they're firing a bunch of people, and then they're saying, hey, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Okay, so there's another article. Okay, now let's continue on to the next one. The largest health network in all of Canada. From CTV News. Toronto Hospital Network to require organ transplant patients to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19. So, this one, I heard a rebuttal to it, and okay, I can kind of understand. I can get the cost analysis side, like literally just the dollars of it, not thinking of, hey, this is a person. So the decision. One carefully debated by doctors at Toronto's University Health Network affects some 4,300 Canadians waiting for a donor organ to become available, as well as those who come after them. And so this Dr. Atul Humar, who's the director of the University Health Network, says, from a medical point of view, we all felt quite strongly that this was needed. So we've been having a discussion on how best to formulate this policy. Okay, I'm just an idiot. I don't know anything. But it seems really. So I was seeing a discussion with I was following Dr. Zubin saying, hey, like there's some hospitals that are refusing it. And the argument he said was, well, when you're on an organ transplant, you're on immunosuppressants, and you're on medication for the rest of your life in order to so your body doesn't reject this organ and you die. And he made a couple other points, I guess regarding an article or a decision in particular, but I'm torn on this. Because you're literally having a hospital, you're having a government body. Well, I don't even know if you would consider the UHN a government body. But it's like you have a government, I don't know, I guess. Well, you have people that are deciding what you can and cannot do with your body with regards to a transplant. So, and they're saying here, this is the crazy statistics that they have. According to statistics provided by the University Health Network, unvaccinated patients face a 12% higher risk of organ rejection and a 30% higher chance of dying from COVID-19. So, similar to the other statement of, well, you're on immunosuppressants, so your body doesn't fight this transplant organ, and you die. And so, I don't know. What do you? Well, hold on. Here.
Okay, carry.
Okay, so the other one was. Okay, so from the National Post, thousands of unvaccinated healthcare workers in Quebec could be suspended at the end of the week. About 5,500 nurses and medical personnel are going to be fired. They're already looking at having the military come in and do that.
The National Post one?
Yeah. Okay. So they're already looking. And so the one clip that I have is around 3,000 nurses and 2,500 patient attendants remain unvaccinated against COVID-19. And that the province was already short around 5,000 nurses. So you're going to have a deficit of 10,000 medical professionals. And you're going to fire more and more. So this is where this isn't about immunization. It's like a sub-cause fallacy. It's like we've spent all this money, and now we need to kind of verify or justify the money that we've spent. Okay, but what did you want to say?
I don't know. See, fuck. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Like, okay. I can see both sides and things. So I can understand. Oh man. Okay, forcing people to do something is not right. Like I just no. I don't feel like that's the right thing to do at all. And the way that they're forcing people right now is actually quite disgusting. And I had actually was listening to a different podcast today. Sorry, I'm just kidding. No, I only listen to my own. But I was listening to a different podcast today. It was a Louder with Crowder podcast. And they had a clip from the president who is basically saying that like people are going to get vaccinated or like they're going to start taking away things from them and make it very difficult for them. AKA their jobs, they're going to lose their jobs, stuff like that. So I feel like the way people are going about this is not right. Like Dr. Zubin has mentioned before in other podcasts, when you have somebody who you don't trust already that is now telling you you have to do this, it's going to cause people to step back. Even people who were, wishy-washy about getting the vaccine, but kind of leaning more towards it. Well, now this asshole over here that I can't stand is telling me I have to get it or else. It causes people to be defiant. It causes people to throw their hands up and go, no. You are not going to force me to do this. So a lot of the people that they could have swayed, I guess, or convinced to get the vaccine by doing other manner or means by maybe explaining things, giving them a little bit more information, making them feel safe about it. Well, now by being forced to, it doesn't feel so safe. Like that's where the huge disconnect comes, and people don't seem to be understanding that. And a lot of people are just roll up your sleeve, just get it, da. Okay, fine. If you are one of those people, can you not understand how, say, okay, so we got Biden in there right now. So I'll be talking to the people who we're very anti-Trump. Now, if Trump were doing things like this, somebody who you didn't trust, that was in office, is literally forcing it down your throat, telling you you have to take this or else. Tell me you wouldn't be like, I don't trust you and you're going to force me to do this. Like, put yourself in somebody else's shoes for a minute. Now, that being said, so I'm pretty sure everybody understands my stance on this. I think that the way that they're doing things are wrong. Whether the vaccine is a good thing or not, the way that they're going about it is not a good thing. And they are ripping people apart and making people feel a lot more hesitant about getting something that they probably would have been easily swayed into getting. Or, I don't like saying swayed, but would have been convinced, I guess, with some more information. But, okay, people who have organ issues. Now, they have a really shitty immune system. And I have always, I guess, kind of from the beginning, before this all became something that was a mandatory, you have to or else thing, I was always very, you know what, like, I'm not too sure about it for myself. But if you have a really shitty immune system, I think you should get it. Like, you should try it. Because if it's going to help, great. At least it'll help. And people with organ failures and stuff like that, they have really bad immune systems. So them not being vaccinated, let's just say, if the vaccine helps even a little bit, I I feel like they should. Being forced to, no, but I feel like they should, because they're already at high risk. Now, you think of how hard it is for an somebody who needs an organ to get an organ. You're on a very long wait list. I don't know how it is in the States, but I know in Canada, you're on a very long wait list. And if you get that organ before you die, you're lucky. So
yeah, it's not uncommon for people to die in our healthcare system, just waiting for something to come.
yeah, waiting for specialists, waiting for organs, whatever. So the fact that you're waiting so long to get this organ, and you know what? This organ just happened to be a perfect match for you. And then what? You're going to get the organ and then potentially end up getting COVID and that organ, and you are going to be to waste. Like, it sounds really bad, but I kind of get it. Like, when
I get it too. I get it too, to an extent. And I've said over and over again, everyone, the stupid memes about, a tombstone and I did my own research. Oh, okay. So you looked into the information yourself, and now look at you fucking moron. Like, that's the kind of way that I've always looked at that, is no, people are seeking information. Like, we have some knowledge of the universe, or at the very least, no, actually even our universe, because we can look up any article about, discoveries in our solar system, in the Milky Way galaxy, things they've discovered in the universe. We can find that information all the way from, microbes, like, germ theory, all the way up to, the largest celestial bodies in the universe. We have so much more information and potential, and that's unfortunately that's what happens when you have freedom of, unfortunately in Canada, we don't have freedom of speech. We have compelled speech. We have speech that if you hurt someone's feelings, you can be charged for it. Okay.
Which is really sad that the Americans are, like, literally throwing that away. Like, they're losing their free speech. They really are.
Well, and I'll say I understand it, because I've made this argument to other people that are just, just, so what, the government's doing that, so what? Okay. And I've made this argument before. Okay. So let's say a very fundamental religious person was a prime minister. And they're saying they're trying to enact policies or compel people to say certain things or not say certain things. Like, hey, you know what? When I'm prime minister, God damn it, is illegal. You cannot say that because that is actually offensive. Okay. So let's hypothetical situation. Let's say I don't believe in God personally. And if I said, hey, anyone that speaks about religion, that hurts my feelings. So you're going to be charged for offensive language. Do you understand the contradiction that's saying, hey, what you're saying is offensive to me?
Yeah.
So ignore it. If you don't like it, or ideally, what I would love in a free and democratic society, you say something I don't like, and I could say, hey, let's talk about that. One of my pet peeves is when something miraculous happens and people say, thank God. So let's say a surgeon does something that someone should not have come back from. They did a surgery that they I don't know, say someone, I don't know, they had to restart their heart or they had to do a heart transplant, which is very hard to do. And at the end of it, they say, "Oh, thank God." What do you mean? This doctor probably studied for 8 to 10 years so that he could do this.
Just did a 24-hour surgery.
Yeah. And like, my first thing would be, thank you, doctor. Thank you, nurses. Thank you for doing such an amazing job. That would be my first thanks, but I don't know. See, but I could say, hey, if you say thank God to someone, that's illegal. That's why the kind of talking about this type of stuff, with us having so much knowledge and so much information available to us, okay, yeah, that's how things used to be. You used to be able to find information and have a discussion with someone. You could talk to someone about, you could talk to your neighbors and just say, hey, I think this. And they'll go, no, that's kind of messed up. No, I would think this. And you two just get along. But now it's crazy because now we've become so conditioned to, the types of things on social media, like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Like, it was, and I've said this before, I was sent a video and it hurt my head seeing it, and people agreed with it. And I'll you know what? You know what? Whatever. I'll kind of rebut to the video, because it was a video about Jen Psaki showing and I think I talked about this before. It was an info, like an infographic about the amount of debt Trump had, and now the amount of debt the Democrats had. Like, but that's not true. Like, just look at independent information. And I'm not necessarily, well, I would say I'm probably more pro-Trump because, I'm more of a populist. I'm more of someone that thinks people should have the power, not people be afraid of the government. Call me crazy. Every time governments have gotten so big, hey, look at Australia. Australia is a beautiful example when the government no longer fears its citizens. You have women getting choked, people getting slammed to the ground, people being arrested for leaving their home. Like, and I'll say that anyone that finds that justifiable, that is all right, you're literally the people that allowed Nazi Germany to flourish. Extreme point. I know, very. What? I'm a Nazi sympathizer?
No.
I'm a Nazi sympathizer? No. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you are. Instead of standing up, instead of saying, hey, government, what you are doing is wrong. People are just, oh, well, I'll just keep my head down and, this will blow over me. You know what? A lot of people, like, and everyone makes a comparison with Nazi Germany. Okay, okay, take another one. Take any other major communist country. Do you want to go with Joseph Stalin? With Stalinism? Should we make that comparison?
Putin?
Stalin. Joseph Stalin.
No, I know. I just said or Putin. Like, the thing is, you can take extremists from anywhere. Like, the thing is, like, this attitude that people are exhibiting right now are the attitude of what you would classify as more extremists. So you have places, Middle Eastern and stuff like that you'd have like the extremists, and bad things happen. Well, what do you think is happening now?
Yeah, it's I'm sure people have heard this, or heard me say this, but statism. What is statism? In political science, statism is the doctrine that the political authority of the state is legitimate to some degree. This may include economic and social policy. especially in regard to taxation and the means of production. Sorry, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of the government saying that X, Y, and Z is right. Since when? I don't like. I don't understand how people could look at Australia and say that's right.
I personally don't understand how anybody could look at another person being harmed and sit there and say that's okay because this is for the I don't know, the greater good, if that's
The greater good.
the line you want to give yourself. Like, this is for the benefit of everybody. So that person being held down against their will and injected with something, that's good.
I wouldn't even say that. Like, let's not even go to that point. Okay, the government is forcing you to, more or less hold you down. But it's worse than just that. Its government is now dictating your day-to-day activities to the point of you can't. So, okay, here. Okay, so Kim, think of this. Okay.
I'm like thinking.
Well, tough shit. So, I dictate where you can go to work. I get to dictate how you get to work. I dictate what type of food you can have. Should that not be, wouldn't you be like, I have no autonomy. I can't do anything without the government's approval.
I would feel like a child. Like,
Well,
I would
and-
feel like I would not, that I can't do anything on my own, that you are literally telling me what I can and cannot do. I would feel like a child.
And I think that, like, that's what's crazy, that some people are just, well, maybe if they just did it, well, maybe if the Germans or the Jews just did what they had to do. What did they have to do? They complied. A lot of them actually complied. Like I said, it's like Joseph Stalin. People complied their way into starvation and death. Some of the largest deaths happened because the government said, it's called a command economy. The government commands the economy. And like, I've seen, I was actually asking someone about this. Why is government in the business of real estate?
Huh?
Why is government in the business of real estate?
How are they in the business of real estate?
Look, did you look at our elections? What were they talking about? Oh, we're going to get a handle on housing prices. Why? Since when was that? Since when was it government's job to regulate the housing industry?
I didn't even know that. See, this is, again, how well I follow politics, but what? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Why is government trying to control the housing market?
That sounds as silly as going to a pet store for house insurance.
Why?
Because one has absolutely nothing to do with the other. I go to the pet store to take care of my pets, not to get house insurance. Why would they know anything about house insurance? That's not their job. It's a pet store. The government, it's not their job to deal in real estate. How does that have anything to do with the government?
Well, and okay, so no, that's actually a really good point. So why is the government so heavily, like, it's not just necessarily that the government is involved. Like, to an extent, I accept our public health care. Okay. I can agree with it to an extent. But everyone complains that our healthcare system is broken. It's not working. How long are people sitting waiting for a doctor's appointment? How long do you get to speak with your doctor about real problems?
I mean, yeah. No, I completely agree with that, 100%. The only thing is, though, in the States, I mean, yeah, you can get things done right away if you have the insurance and the money for it. If you don't, guess what? You're no better off.
Yeah, well, you're worse off. But that's why I'm a fan of like a two-tier system, public and private. Maybe public is, baseline, and you can supplement with private insurance or private hospitals. I know BC and Alberta have already looked at, and they have some of them. Well, I know BC for sure. I haven't looked all that much into Alberta, but I think there's some other provinces that have looked at it, having private hospitals or private clinics. Why is that not a thing? Secondly, why is business, or why is our government involved in corporations?
Yeah, I'm sitting here and thinking about everything that the government actually has their hands in. They literally control everything. Everything. The educational systems, your work, now homes, what gas prices, companies.
Well, that's what they fight for, gas prices. They literally fight for gas price by either saying a company can or cannot drill in certain places, which, okay, I can understand to an extent, but it's like, you remember when with that Greta Thunberg was saying, oh, we need to get off like petroleum, we need to get off gas, we need to get off diesel. Like not in 2023, I think she said not in 2020, not in 2021, now.
No, I don't know that. I don't listen to the news. I'm just a girl. I'm dumb.
Shut up.
I don't know things.
But so when you have a you know what? And I'm a big fan of renewable technologies, things that are less damaging to the environment. I'm a fan of that. I'm cool with, not doing so much damage to the environment. We have a lot of laws and regulations that companies have to comply with. We have our standards in Canada. But to then, and I think I brought this up before, it's called carbon leakage.
Ew.
Did I talk to you about that?
No, but leakage just sounds gross.
Yeah. So the idea is, so let's say you have a manufacturing company in Canada. Okay, and I'm just throwing out numbers. I don't pay attention that much to how much CO2 a company pumps out into the air.
So why not? You should know everything. God.
No, I try to be so educated and informed in everything that I talk about. But I don't have to be, because I can look at something and think, does that make sense?
So you do a sniff test?
Yeah. Okay. A lot of things I do a sniff test on. So, like our hospitals things. Okay, we're actively dealing with a pandemic, but we're also going to tell nurses that, hey, unless you're vaccinated, kick to the curb. But aren't we dealing with a pandemic where our healthcare system is already strained, and they're saying, hospitals are at and overflowing? So let's shoot ourselves in the foot while we shoot ourselves in the neck to solve this problem. Like, we're already shot in the foot because our healthcare system gets overloaded during a bad flu season. It gets overwhelmed during a flu season. So now, when we're dealing with an active pandemic, well, we're going to shoot ourselves in the neck so that we have no way of dealing with this, period. And okay. Here's my crazy conspiracy theory. So,
wait, hold on. Let me go get my tinfoil hat.
Yeah, everyone, hat up. Okay. So the hospitals were able to manage. I'm using that term loosely. They dealt with the problems that they had in front of them. okay, so now that things have, I want to say have leveled off, but the Delta variant has shown to be less deadly, but more transmissible. And from the information I've been able to find, that's quite common for viruses. It is better that a virus gets less deadly so that it can replicate more.
Yes, and why is that? Because viruses typically don't want their host to die. They need something
It's a
to
side
live in.
effect. Oddly enough, its host dying is a negative side effect to the virus, not to the host, to the virus. As like that sounds so weird to say. It being deadly is bad.
Yeah, that's not what it wants. It definitely will adapt, like you said, to make it so that they are more transmittable. Oh my God. But they don't want the host to die. So yeah, it being more transmittable but less deadly, that's a win.
Yeah, so like the flu that we have right now is a very, very subdued version of the Spanish flu. And, there are some other ones, but one of the common ones is a severely less deadly Spanish flu. That it's mutated to be less deadly, but it transmits easier. So here's my conspiracy theory. So the Delta variant has shown to be less deadly, more transmissible. Like you can see it in the numbers.
Can I cut you off there?
No. What?
Sorry. Okay. When you get a COVID test, do they tell you, oh, you have the Delta variant? Or do they just say that you have COVID?
I think they just say you have COVID.
Exactly. Can their COVID tests even determine which variant it is that you have?
I don't know. I haven't looked into that personally. I would assume no.
From what I've heard, it can't. So how do they know it's actually the Delta variant, not just the original variant? Like that's what I don't understand.
See that I don't know, and I couldn't even speculate. I'd have to actually look into that. I don't know. Let's
We need scientist friends, people who work in was that microbiology?
Yeah, but okay, anyway. So here, stop. Fuck. So here's my conspiracy theory. Okay, so the hospitals have more or less been able to manage with this virus. More or less. Okay, yes, some have been overwhelmed in terms of the capacity. Okay, I get that. But now that it's becoming less deadly, and like I said, you can see it in the numbers. And as the COVID cases seem to be falling, they do seem to be tapering down. The deaths are they're lagging behind. So it might be from the information I was able to find, it could be up to a month or so before we notice death rates start falling. And I get news sent right to my phone. I get notifications all the time about like COVID numbers, anything that's happening. So I'll see it's like 700 new cases, 2 people died. Well, that's great. I don't mean I don't mean for the people dying, but okay, so like you're seeing that information in real life. Okay, more people might be getting the virus, but our death rates seem to be falling quite substantially. And I think that that's good. That's a good sign. It means that the virus is becoming less deadly. Or it already killed the people that were the most susceptible to it. Now it's, kind of dealing with the ramifications of maybe some outliers, maybe some people that have some type of remission of maybe illnesses. So here's my thought. So COVID is becoming less deadly. Policies are getting more and more strict. Governments are already looking into having Army fill those positions. That's pretty screwed up. Why is it the government, why would the military be involved in, for healthcare more and more? Having, there's things in the States where they're saying they're having military drive kids in school buses. They're
What?
having, yeah.
What?
So,
I'm pretty sure someone didn't join the military to drive a bunch of gremlins to school.
Look it up. Please prove me wrong. But, but so, now there's more talk about military doing more and more stuff. So I think it is more opportunities for the government to say, hey, we have, at some point we'll have to install military on every corner because the police are firing on, are quitting en masse. Police don't want to be policemen or policewomen. They don't want to do the job anymore. A lot of police are leaving the force en masse. So, okay, now the military needs to come in and do the job of the police. They need to take the job of bus drivers. They need to take the job of healthcare workers.
State's National Guard to help with busing students to school. A growing issue in the states across the country.
Mm-hmm.
What the shit? Said 250 Guard personnel will be available to serve as drivers of school transportation vans. They'll begin training Tuesday, with some of 90 of them being initially developed in 4 diverse cities north of Boston, Chelsea, Lawrenceville, Lynn, whatever, blah, 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 blah. The Guard troops will complete vehicle training like any other school transportation worker and operate transportation vans known as 7D vehicles. Not the familiar yellow school buses, according to the governor's office. This is insane. 250.
Yeah. So it's like the government will take control of mandatory, or not mandatory, but necessary infrastructure. So they're not using school buses, but they're using a different type of vehicle. I'm a little skeptical about that. You see, in Australia, they're talking about these COVID camps, literally quarantine camps or concentration camps. But they're not expected to be done by 2024. So the big push, and so there was one article I was looking at. Where was it now?
Wait.
What?
Hold on. They're building COVID camps.
In Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be done until 2024. That's 2 years down the road. They're not going to be done.
Yeah, they're not going to complete the project until 2024 is when they're expecting. So, like, am I just seeing things that I don't want to see? Am I jumping to conclusions to things that I shouldn't? Like, I'm just looking at the information. Yeah, and you know what? I said, thing with Mark Twain, I'll bring it up again. History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. So it can start with, hey, you have a virus now. Oh, well, we've outlawed this type of speech. You are using someone's improper pronouns. So, you get sent to a detention facility. Oh, you're immunocompromised. Put in whatever excuse you want. You're allowing this to happen. And I'll say, in Australia, government has no fear of its citizens. And I think a healthy government should be terrified that its citizens are going to do something. Instead of just, oh, well, I got elected, I'm going to do what I want now. I got elected on, on these issues. Now that I'm in, I don't work for you anymore. You can see time and time again with the Conservative Party. They were kicking people out because, I don't know if they were a threat to Mr. O'Toole's power or because they were speaking up. They were speaking out. Okay. So now what? People that speak out against the government? You go away. Okay. But so to complete my conspiracy theory, keep fucking interrupting me. So
Right, but you keep saying shit that's making me go, say what?
So government is becoming more and more involved. They're installing more and more military to do what private citizens should be doing, not the military. And I understand people are going to say, well, if people aren't going to do the job, obviously the government has to step in. No. Since when? Since when was that government's job? I'm already pissed that our government is control of our liquor. Our government is in control of our insurance. Our government is in control of our healthcare system. Where our government, and okay, so to complete the conspiracy theory, there's food shortages all over the place. Things now cost more. So here's one article that I have pulled up from Kraft Heinz. Says people must get used to higher food prices. Where is that line?
Is that in the BBC?
Well, yes, the one from BBC. But so they're saying during the pandemic, many countries saw production of raw materials ranging from crops to vegetable oils fall. Measures to control the virus as well as illness, limited output and delivery. As economies have restarted, the supplies of these products haven't been able to keep up with returning demand, leading to higher prices. Higher wages and energy prices have also added to the burden of manufacturers. Okay. So this is another one. This was from Taste of Home. 7 items you might not find in your grocery store. So one quote that I have was, it's because of labor shortages and supply chain issues from food manufacturers to grocery stores. There simply aren't enough people to make the goods, move the goods, and sell the goods, says Jim Dudlicek. Dudlicek, a representative for the National Grocers Association. So, people, what do you expect to happen? So, has anyone seen read the book Atlas Shrugged? Have you seen that, Kim?
No.
Or read it?
No.
Okay, so, sorry for anyone. You know what? I actually just got it on Audible, and so I'm going to be listening to it. But it's the basic idea of someone tried to stop production. And they succeeded. They brought a country's economy to a standstill. And it caused a panic. So, if you think of say V for Vendetta. Well, what was that? The government, because of a virus, the government took control of everything. The government had to take control of everything. And then what? The government kept taking control of more and more and started oppressing people more and more until that little girl was shot. And they say that was the shot heard around the world, and it started a revolution. So, I think I brought this up before. If people keep compromising, and I think the expression goes exactly, you cannot comply your way out of tyranny. Again, yeah, Germany's the famous one. Joseph Stalin is another good one. Look at Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge. Look at China. Look at Cuba, Venezuela. How many more communist countries, more command economies do you need to look at and everyone say, well, they just didn't do it right? No, they did it exactly as communism intends, a command economy. I don't even have to say communism, a command economy, where the government controls everything, where you own nothing and you will be happy. Remember that from the World Trade Organization, or the fuck was that summit called? Where you will own nothing and you will be happy. So I think this is more to normalize that the government is stepping in, and you know what? The government will take care of me. Well, they need to raise taxes because the government has had to step in and do all this stuff. And it becomes more and more. You become dependent on them. It's like Stockholm syndrome. For at least for me anyways, I don't want the government involved in anything. I don't trust the government as far as I can throw it. I wouldn't trust the government to run a fucking
gas station,
let alone a country. That's not their job. At the very least, it's supposed to be. At the very least, it's supposed to be. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you went robot-y for a second, but you're good.
Hello. Yeah, I know someone's phoning me right now. So it's not the government's job. So my conspiracy theory is that the government will show that, hey, we need to take control of this stuff, and you can't. You should just rely on us. I'm not a. You know, to an extent, I would be a fan of globalism if everyone was on the same page. Everyone shared the same ideology. Unfortunately, everyone in this world does not share that same ideology. If we could, if you know what, I call me greedy, but I don't want to give up the lifestyle that I have. Call me greedy. I'm not interested in that. But I'll say with this caveat, I would give up some of my my life or my standard of living if it meant it actually helped people. Unfortunately, it doesn't. You know, our government says, or well, even celebrities. Well, CO2 is causing waters to rise. CO2 is damaging our planet, almost, irreversibly damaging it. But what are the those same people doing? They're buying beachfront property. They're buying private jets. So that's where the sniff test comes in. It's like, you're telling me one thing, but you're doing the other. That makes no sense to me. But I don't know. All right, say something. I've been going on for too long, and I could keep going.
I mean, I don't know. I just keep thinking I wish I could have one of my old coworkers on right now. I think she'd have a field day. But I don't know. To me, them having their hands in so many things and having control over so many things, for me, is scary. I mean, if people would actually stop and think of how much control they don't have, I don't know. It's it literally every aspect of our lives are being dictated to us, and what is allowed, what's not allowed, and we're really, I don't know, for Canada, that's supposed to be more of a free place. It's starting to look a lot more. Oh, we're starting to get on that communist bandwagon. It's, I don't know.
How did that expression go? You can vote your way into communism, but you have to shoot your way out.
Never heard that, but it makes sense.
And we are so dangerously close to this.
Yes.
so we've given up more and more freedoms for what? For security. That's like, why don't we go? Why don't, like, people that are so afraid of risk to the extent that they'll command or demand other people comply to their own fears? And you know what? That's what it is. It is ultimately, people are afraid. They've been whipped up to be scared.
Yes. I mean, I think with a lot of the shit that's gone on in the media and society and stuff like that has definitely put a huge fear in people to the point where they're acting completely irrationally because they're scared. It's you're not getting vaccinated. Well, that scares me because I don't want to die. I don't want my family to die, and it's your fault if someone dies. So I'm going to take it out on you. Like, it's a lot of it is played by fear, but I think, I don't know, people really need to just stop and start looking around and look what people are becoming. I mean, one thing that I used to love about Canada, well, and it's not even just Canada, it's happening everywhere, but like, we were always the nice ones, right? Like, oh, I'm sorry. And now, like, I fear that when someone asks, like, oh, are you vaccinated? Like, for one, to me, it's none of your fucking business whether I'm vaccinated or not. But, like, even if I wasn't, I would be scared to say no. Because, like, you have that fear that this mob is just going to come and attack you.
So, okay, so hold on. I'm going to segue a little bit. I just had a bit of a thought. So let's say, what if government officials, what if these were kind of a policy? What if they, when they campaigned, they had to be held to what they are campaigning on? Otherwise, we fire them. I had quite a few other ideas, and unfortunately, I didn't write them down. And fuck, were they good? God damn, they were good. And there was a podcast that I was listening to, and I'm gonna have to listen to it again because it jarred my memory to do that stuff, or to like write that down. Like, and I've brought this up multiple times that I think a lot of people have just accepted it instead of just questioning it. Like, for me, I question everything. I'm the contrarian. I'm the I don't know. Yeah, I guess the contrarian. I'll always try to push back to make someone doubt, like, their own idea. So I don't know. I wonder, maybe, like, governments should be a little more, I don't know, maybe, like, their income is directly tied to, like, the average or median income of their constituents. Oh, here we go. Here. Oh, they are banned from holding any stocks in any, like, they have no public stocks. They cannot invest in the stock market. There's I believe it's a subreddit, or maybe, no, what is it on Twitter? I think it's on Twitter, but it's like, it's something, it's like Nancy Pelosi picks or something like that. And it's literally shows the stock picks that Nancy Pelosi makes. Because for anyone that doesn't know, Nancy Pelosi, in the United States, is, I believe, she's the House Speaker. She is possibly one of the best investment brokers, I guess you would say. You could say, even though she's technically not. But every single thing she puts money into, she makes tons of money. Her stock picks are amazing. Almost like
suspicious.
Like insider trading is illegal. So I don't know. I thought of, what? While you are in office, you can have no stocks. You are barred from actually investing in whether it's in other businesses or in the stock market, because you incentivize that. How many people are going to pull, if you're a politician, someone's going to say, hey, just a heads up, some new laws are coming around. It is okay. It is literally the people writing the laws dictating winners and losers. So if I'm a political if I'm a member of parliament, well, we're going to be voting on we're going to be banning fossil fuels in 5 years. Well, I should probably pull some of my money out of those traditional petroleum industries. Look at putting them into renewable electronic resources. You literally have the inside lane. So I don't know. I think their income should be tied to the median income of their constituents. I think, they cannot have any public options or any stock options, period. They are barred from investing in the stock market. Okay, here's another one. Any policy put forward has to dictate what that policy is directly going to do. And you know what? This is where things get really hard. Because you have to show, this is what I'm expecting from this bill. If not, that bill is trashed. So someone says
transparency.
Well, if they say, I'm gonna let's say with a recent banned gun list thing that Trudeau pushed through, saying that we're gonna look at lowering gun crime. Okay, how much are you expecting gun crime to fall by? And you know what? I would be generous. I would say, if he said somewhere between, 2 and 5%, 2 and 5% of gun crimes would fall. That's a big number. That's a really big number. So I thought, if there is no noticeable change in, let's say, gun crimes, for this example, that bill is terminated. It no longer is a law. It is trashed.
I like that. That would actually be kind of good.
Yeah, I think that would be a great thing. I also think all laws have some type of, like a sunset clause, like after 5 years, this law has to be looked at and evaluated, and did it do its intended job? If it doesn't, okay, then it's trashed. I don't know.
I like that, though. I like that. You put a bill forward, and if the expected outcome doesn't come to fruition as one projected, then yeah. Peace out, Bill.
Yeah.
It's funny, I sounded smart for a second until I said peace out, Bill. Just gotta keep it real. Can't have people thinking I'm smart and shit.
So I don't know. I don't know. I think that would be some good things to even consider. So their income is no longer tied to them voting on it. Like, are you going to vote yourself to not have to get a pay raise?
Yeah.
There was, and I brought this up before. I don't know if I said it on a podcast. Maybe I did, or I don't, whatever. That there was a politician, I believe it was in Ontario, that voted to lower everyone's, lower their salary during COVID. And not only was that struck down, what?
Hold on. Who is everyone's salary? Like everyone, or in politics?
In politics, they can't
Oh,
dictate. Well, they're not supposed to dictate income, but that's what they do.
depending on the government, yes, they do. The provincial government put like wage freezes on a bunch of the provincial government employees, and
Oh, I know.
like that
Yeah.
was absolutely ridiculous. Not only wage freezes, there was also forced layoffs, stuff like that. Like now, yeah, they 100% dictate that.
I know. I'm saying that they're not supposed to be in charge of people's income, but somehow they are. Like the minimum wage thing. I'm sorry. That makes no sense to me. It really makes no sense to me. I understand the theory of it, but it makes no sense. Because so whenever minimum wage rises, well, naturally, I think I brought this up before. Naturally, the price of things has to go up. So if you have to spend like $15 or whatever it is for someone to do a job, well, is that job so like you are paid in terms of your value? And unfortunately, that's how our world works. But I'm more of a fan of a meritocracy. The best rise to the top. People bitch and moan about Jeff Bezos and his slave conditions, and everyone there are they're slaves, like they're labor economic slaves. Well, that's weird. Because like I don't know the exact inner workings of Amazon, and we've all heard stories that they time your pee breaks and people pee in bottles and all this stuff. I'm like, but it's one of the most valuable companies in the world. So if there were actual labor law violations, and I'm sure there's some, but it's not like the company's imploding. It's making more and more money. Walmart is the same thing. Like people used to say, hey, Walmart's a terrible place to live. They give people, slave wages that they can't afford to even, even pay for their homes. Okay. But where do they live? Like Walmart was whatever that Walton, I can't remember the guy's first name. Walton, the owner of or the CEO of Walmart. Okay, but I think he's like the third or fourth richest person, like publicly richest person in the world. So if that's true, then why is that place so big and so successful? So here's my crazy idea with minimum wages. Do you think, I'm asking you, Kim, do you think in Toronto $15 per hour would suffice? Would that be enough to live, say, in Toronto?
No.
Working, say, 40 hours a week? No?
No, for the simple fact that I live in Manitoba, and even $15 an hour, I don't think I could have my own place with that.
Okay.
They're more expensive there.
Okay, so let's say in a small town. Do you think $15 an hour in, say, a small town would be good? Would that be enough, probably, for someone to live?
I would say probably just. I mean, it really depends on the town. I mean, some towns you have, houses are cheaper than they are in the city. Other towns, not so much. But I don't know. I mean, if you live in a small town, you probably don't have to worry about driving back and forth to work. You could probably just, walk, or, so gas and everything would be cheaper. But sorry, but I don't know. I don't know. That house we were looking at, we we live by, we couldn't even do it with both of us. Things would be extremely tight. Something would have to give. So
the reason why I bring this up, is a national minimum wage literally doesn't make sense. That is like the definition of painting everyone with the same brush. So $15 an hour in Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary probably isn't going to do it. You'd probably be looking more at like $20, $30 an hour. But also, so I look at it kind of like this way. Think of a video game, say like an RPG. Well, when you start at level 1, okay, you got a shitty sword, you got a shitty shield. Your character isn't very good. And you slowly, you level up, you get some new items. They don't send you to, the end game boss when you're level 1. You'd die. You'd fail the game. Or you'd lose at a game. You don't fail a game. You lose at it.
Yeah, I remember those games when we played with that one guy. Oh my god. We just kept dying every freaking, I almost said episode. Every time we played, we just kept dying. Yeah, that was annoying. Remember when we were playing with Dead Meat's cousin?
Oh.
He was the DM. Yeah. Oh my god, that was horrible.
For D&D.
Yeah.
Okay, but so, you wouldn't start at the end boss. No, you'd start level 1, getting a little bit better. You learn your skills. You find what your character, to use a D&D analogy. You learn what your character's good at, what they excel at. Okay, then they specialize. Okay, now they have more worth. They have more value. And ultimately, that's what a company is looking for. How much value do you add? So kind of a level 1 person shouldn't be getting paid the same as a level 20 person.
No.
No. So, like I said, I left the city. I wanted to move somewhere that was, we had more opportunity. Well, I wouldn't say opportunity, but we had more room. It wasn't as expensive as living in the city. Now, if I wanted to move back to the city, okay, I've probably leveled up enough that I could. But
I wouldn't want to.
No.
I'm over the city. I don't want to go back. Nope. Wherever we decide to go, it has to be outside of a city. Whether it's I don't even know if a suburb, but just something small. I don't know.
No, but so for a national minimum wage, and I understand it's supposed to help lessen worker exploitation, businesses exploiting their workers. Okay, I get that. But if Safeway, just as an example, has to pay a stalker, like someone that stocks shelves, not someone that like.
I was laughing to myself, and you said, I was like,
but someone to stock shelves, if they have to pay them, say $13 an hour, and minimum wage say goes up to $14 an hour. Okay, but they need to adjust for the amount of money that they're paying this person for. So you don't really get anywhere, and that's kind of that's the thing with look at the food shortages we're seeing. You're seeing stuff go up because, that's literally the type of economy that we live in. Scarcity drives up the price. If there were tons of people producing whatever, baked, well, I guess in the article, baked beans. Okay, then that naturally, because there is so much supply, it drives down the demand, which makes things cheaper. So with government getting involved in housing and all this other shit, that's not your job. Like they keep saying, oh, well, we're going to lower cell phone prices. Okay, but isn't, and I understand when businesses, they kind of, what's the word? When they collude, they work on price fixing. Okay, yeah, I could see government getting involved in that because that is actually anti-competitive practices. I'm sorry, I'm not like a big, corporations or government shouldn't be involved in regulating corporations and stuff. No, but I think some types of regulations, like anti-competitive behavior, collusion, price fixing, yeah. But when government starts regulating prices, that's a command economy. Government is saying, hey, you can only buy for this much. Okay.
See, I remember when I was younger and naive and our minimum wage would go up, I would get so excited. I'm like, yes, minimum wage is going up. I'm finally going to make more money. But then I grew up and got smart. And you get that realization that now when I hear minimum wage is going up, I'm like, great. Because you know what that means, guys? Cost of living goes up. You never get ahead. They never, okay, well, we're going to put minimum wage up for you to make things easier. There's never a handout. It's, okay, we're going to put minimum wage up because cost of living is going to go up. So you're essentially just going to break even. So here you go. Merry fucking Christmas.
Yeah, there's no real, there's no real getting ahead. Yeah, you're either falling behind, and in fact, most people are falling behind the rate of inflation. So, I don't know. I guess to tie everything kind of back together. So, we're losing a shit ton of nurses, which is costing the government more money. It's actually, hold on, let me rephrase that. It is costing us more money to hire these nurses now. So, hey, you know what? Nurses are going to be making a killing. Like they're going to make great money. But the ones that can't be filled, okay, the military is going to step in. Food shortages, supply shortages. People just aren't producing anything.
That's just crazy.
I don't know. We are dangerously close that I think if food actually becomes priced out and a lot of people are unable to actually buy anything. Ooh. And it's like a crazy number. Like it's actually really low. Like most revolutions have happened like because of food. Food has became unobtainable. And that's a lot of times when revolutions happen.
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
I think instead of people saying, oh, well, maybe if they just got vaccinated, this would all be done and dealt with. Okay, here, listen to this. Listen to these numbers. This is on Global News. So, from, I assume since about March, when coronavirus was actually declared, 1.66, or closer to like 1.67 million people have been infected. Total deaths, 28,000. At least 88%. That is actually way above the number that I was projecting. I was betting about 80%. 88% of people have had at least one dose. 82% are fully vaccinated.
A high number.
Fuck yeah, it is.
The fuck are people bitching?
Because of the 18%. The 18% is the reason why, and this is why I say this rhetoric is really messed up. 18% is saying, oh, because of them, that's why you don't have Thanksgiving, that's why you don't have a job, that's why, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. If those numbers are correct, hey, you know what? Good. Like, we should have been out of this at what at first it was 60%, then 70, then 80. The US's wonderful leader was saying 97 to 98%.
We don't need that much. Like, just on pardon me, can't talk all of a sudden. Just on here, the percentage of people who need to be immune in order to achieve herd immunity varies with each disease, yes. For example, herd immunity against measles required 95% of the population to be vaccinated. The remaining 5% will be protected by the fact that measles will not spread among those who are vaccinated. But everybody, well, not everybody knows, you can still get COVID even if you're vaccinated, because you can't fully vaccinate against a flu. It's not possible. Something like measles or polio, well, those things you can be vaccinated against because it's not a viral thing. Like, it's not, doesn't have the same bodies as a flu does, especially one that has animal whatever in it.
Well, yeah, because it actually has what was that actual word? It was like animal storage or animal something, that it can be transmitted to animals.
Well, yes, and it derived from animals as well. So it started with animals, it came to us. So those type of viruses, you cannot fully vaccinate against ever. You can help, just like when you have the influenza. So the influenza. So people get their flu shots and stuff like that every year. Now, it doesn't stop the flu. People still get the flu all the time. It just helps so you don't get as sick. And it's the same that's going to be with even COVID. You're never going to fully eradicate it. It's never going to go away. The only thing that you can do is help make it, I guess, less detrimental to your health. But you're not going to be able to eradicate it. This isn't polio. This isn't the measles. This isn't smallpox. You can't. It's a completely different virus.
Yeah, so I think I'm sorry I keep quoting Dr. Zubin, but he was saying that this will become endemic. He's cited that Delta numbers are already dropping. For the population, it's already going down. Great, that's great news. But the real scary thing is that governments are going to say, because we went to such extreme measures, we beat the virus.
Well, yeah, they're 100% going to think it was them.
Yeah, it's endemic, as in we're going to have it forever. So we just want to get it to that endemic stage faster, which, okay, I understand that. But, I don't know. I shake my head at this quite a bit.
Right.
Like, how much does it cost now for food?
Oh my God. Fuck. I want to say, well, before I would say spend $350 to maybe $400 every 2 weeks. Now I'm spending at least $1,000 in a month. So it's at least $500, but it's more than that. The prices of things, like the things that I get haven't changed. Like I still get the same basic things every paycheck. I'll get a treat in there for me and the kids. Like I'll buy us like pizza or something like that. But the basics, they haven't changed. I'm not buying any more. I'm buying the same amount, and I'm spending more than $200, about $200 to $300 a month more than I was before.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Insane. Like it's like I have to pick and choose now. Where, okay, am I going to get necessities or am I going to get food? And if I have to get any of my necessities, well, then guess what? Food has to go down. I have to get less food.
Yeah.
Like the price of necessities even has gone up. But food, meat, oh my God. The price of meat is insane now.
Yep. and it's only going to go up.
Yeah.
So if people were already struggling, well, just wait. You've seen nothing yet.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that was really it.
What about your what about your last article you had here about Finland?
Oh, about Finland. Yeah. So Finland is joining a couple other countries to banning was it Denmark and Sweden for have banned Moderna because of the myocarditis, which is that inflamed heart. And they're seeing it more and more. And I seen one doctor talking about it, and they were saying there's a difference between inner musculature, so taking a vaccine in your muscle fibers, is very different than intravenously. So intravenous is when you stick it in a vein and you pump the fluid through the vein. So as far as I know, the heart kind of deals with the blood. So with a high concentration of that vaccine being pumped directly into veins, it's actually causing this heart inflammation to happen. So yeah, it's the doctor that I seen talking about it was saying that before you vaccinate or before you inject this solution into someone, you're supposed to aspirate the blood, or you're supposed to check by aspirating the blood. So if you pull the syringe back or the plunger back a little bit on the needle, if blood comes out, okay, you're in a vein. Okay, you have to take the needle out and do it all over again. What you're supposed to do, apparently, is jab it into the muscle and then just administer the dosage. So I'm wondering if that is directly why people are showing this side effect, is because it's actually being injected into the vein.
It's possible.
And I haven't been able to find more information about that directly, but hearing from some doctors are saying that could be a possible reason as to why people are developing this side effect. And so, yeah, that was from the last article was from Global News. It just says Finland follows other Nordic countries by suspending Moderna vaccine. So, yeah.
Yeah, all links again will be in the description box below. And if you're actually watching or glancing at your YouTube or Rumble, you'll see the articles as we're talking about them.
Yeah. So, all right. With that, let's get out of here.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for listening to our opinions on all this crap. So, we appreciate you taking your time out of your busy days to listen to us. And also, don't forget to share, like, subscribe. Everything will be in the description box below where you can hear us, all the articles from the podcast. And come check us out.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, everyone.
Happy Hump Day.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, actually, quickly.
Giggity. What?
Quickly for anyone. I don't know if we should save this for Friday, but a couple new games are going to be coming out. So if I think Friday, yeah, you know what? Let's save it for Friday.
Friday. Just kidding.
Back for Blood was just released today.
Oh.
Kind of looks promising. I'm a little leery of the in-game kind of stuff, but
all right. So I guess Fridays we're gonna have Nerd Game Day.
Yeah. There's some really cool stuff. Looks like it's just on the horizon, or we've already crash landed into it. So yeah. All right. With that, YouTube, Rumble. Focus on Rumble. Rumble is a great platform. They're a little more right-leaning, but you know what? They're not going to kick you off because you said, you gave some bad information or wrong information or information, period. So, you know what? Check us out on Rumble. Rumble, they're, hey, they're a Canadian company.
What?
If you're Canadian, yeah.
Hey.
Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, Google Podcast, blah, 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 all that crap. Instagram, Facebook. We got a shitty Discord where we play games and talk shit.
Darn right. So if you ever want to play with us, come check out the Discord channel. That'll be also in the description box below. And I'm sure you'll catch one of us in there, if not both.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone have a good night and
see you Friday.
Bye, Kim.
Bye, Tyler.